The rain hammered against the veranda roof, a relentless percussion that mirrored the tremor in Elias Thorne's hands. Jedediah Stone watched him, the lantern light etching harsh lines on the older man's face. Clem stood silent in the corner, his presence a steady anchor in the tense atmosphere. It was an accident, Marshal, Elias stammered, his gaze fixed on the swirling rain. A terrible, unfortunate accident. Jedediah didn't respond, letting the silence press down on Elias. The scent of rain and damp earth filled the air, a stark contrast to the stifling weight of unspoken truths. He's been pacing the veranda for hours, the storm a convenient screen for the interrogation. My brother, he was a difficult man, Elias continued, his voice barely a whisper. He pushed people too hard. Made enemies. Ateo Vargas, Jedediah prompted, his voice low and steady. He said he was a business associate. Elias flinched. We had disagreements. About a deal. The ruby, Jedediah said, watching Elias's reaction. The color drained further from the man's face. He swallowed hard. Tell me about the ruby, Mr. Thorne. It's a large ruby, Elias mumbled, his eyes darting around as if expecting someone to jump from the shadows. A prize. Valuable. Silas, he wanted to sell it. Vargas did too. They argue. And what did Silas do that upset Vargas so much? Elias shook his head violently. I don't know. I wasn't there. Silas wouldn't tell me. Suddenly, Elias seized up, his body contorting violently. He gasped for air, his eyes rolling back in his head. Clem reacted instantly, moving to support him. Dr. Abernathy, Jedediah barked. Send a rider. Now. The seizure subsided as quickly as it began, leaving Elias pale and trembling. He looked utterly broken. He's clearly unwell, Marshal, Clem said, keeping a firm grip on Elias's arm. Perhaps we should let him rest. Jedediah ignored him. There's more you aren't telling me, Elias. He pointed to the ledger recovered from Silas's study. This ledger tells a different story. The ledger detailed shipments of goods far beyond Copper Canyon, marked with cryptic notations. There was a symbol sketched repeatedly, a silver feather, and a recurring warning, a Queen of Spades card, meticulously drawn. Silas was involved in things he shouldn't have been, Jedediah continued, ignoring Elias's whimpering. Contraband. Something bigger than gambling debts. He was trying to rectify his family's name. Elias cried out, his voice strained. My father, he made mistakes. Silas was trying to make things right. Jedediah's gaze narrowed. By dealing with criminals, by smuggling goods, by angering Mateo Vargas. Just then, a woman emerged from the shadows of the house. She moved with a quiet grace, her face partially obscured by the hood of her cloak. She held herself with an air of contained power, her eyes sharp and intelligent. He knew too much, she said, her voice slow and steady. Silas was close to uncovering the truth. Who are you? Jedediah asked, his hand instinctively moving towards his holster. The woman didn't answer, instead handing Jedediah a small, intricately carved wooden bird. It was a vibrant blue, a stark contrast to the gloom of the storm. He kept this hidden, she said, her voice barely audible, a reminder of something lost. Before Jedediah could question her further, she melted back into the shadows, disappearing as silently as she had arrived. Who was at? Clem asked, bewildered. Jedediah watched her go, an upforming in his stomach. He felt a familiar unease settle over him. The silver feather, the woman's sudden appearance. It was all connected somehow. Find out who that woman is, Clem, he instructed, and find out everything you can about that bird. He turned back to Elias, who was now staring blankly into space. The storm raged on, mirroring the tempest brewing within Jedediah's mind. He knew this was far from over. He was wading into something dangerous, something that reached far beyond Copper Canyon. The next morning, Jedediah returned to Silas's house. The rain had stopped, leaving the world washed clean, but the lingering sense of dread remained. He examined the ledger again, focusing on the cryptic notes. The silver feather appeared in connection with shipments destined for Tucson, a place notorious for its shady dealings. Clem returned, visibly shaken. I tracked down the woman, Marshal. It wasn't easy. She's known only as Nahka, an Apache shaman. A shaman? Jedediah raised an eyebrow. She lives in the mountains, far from Copper Canyon. She doesn't speak much to anyone. And her connection to Silas. She claimed to have known him when he was a boy. She said he possessed a rare gift, a keen eye for truth. Jedediah pondered this. A keen eye for truth, just like his. Suddenly, a distant shout reached his ears. He turned to see a rider approaching, his horse lathered with sweat. Marshal, the rider called out. Carson brothers. They're causing trouble at the Carson ranch. The livestock is scattered. The fences are down. Jedediah sighed. The Carson brothers were a constant thorn in the side of Copper Canyon, a lawless band of brothers who seemed to thrive on chaos. Later that day, while inspecting the damage at the Carson ranch, Jedediah spotted a glint of silver in the distance. He squinted, recognizing the symbol of a feather. A trail led towards the Superstition Mountains. He knew he was being drawn into something larger than he could have imagined. Something connected to the woman, the feather, and the mysterious ruby. As he rode towards the mountains, the feeling of being watched grew stronger. He felt the weight of the world on his shoulders, a lone figure against the vast, unforgiving landscape. He was a seeker of truth, a pursuer of justice, but he knew that the path ahead would be fraught with danger.